Right off the bat, I want to apologize for my voice because I am a little sick, but apparently we have received a new leak regarding the development of Wolfenstein 3. If you know me, I have been covering this topic quite a bit over the last couple of years, but this is probably the first legitimate leak we have received, with apparently some sources which are believable. However, they are not stated, so I want to stress that this should be taken with a grain of salt. But anyway, as per an article that has been published by Kotaku, 2 new projects have been greenlit at Machine Games, one of them being Wolfenstein 3 and the other being the second Indiana Jones game. Now, they are likely, of course, still in pre-production, but we don't know which one of them is going to come first, what are the priorities and whatnot. So we can only speculate for now, but this is the first probably legitimate or at least somewhat believable leak that could confirm that the next game in the Wolfenstein trilogy is finally being worked on. And we already knew that this was going to happen sooner or later, as it was stated that the Wolfenstein reboot by Machine Games was always meant to be a trilogy, and even the last year in the no-clip interviews with Machine Games, it was stated by Jörg Gustafsson that they are still committed to the franchise and are planning to return to it at some point. So now apparently it is finally happening. When we are going to see the reveal or the game itself is, a blind guess. Also, it is worth noting that these are 2 projects that are likely going to be co-developed at the same time, as apparently Machine Games have been expanded and now have 2 studios working on multiple projects. As to how this game is going to look like, what the theme is going to be, when it is going to be set is, again, as good of a guess as any. My standing prediction is that it is probably going to start off picking up where Wolfenstein Youngblood left off, but I think that we are going to see 2 timelines in this game actually. I think it would make sense to have the game start in 1980s and then move on back to 1960s, either through time travel or crossing dimensions or something like that. As we know, the God Key apparently introduced multiverse, so anything can happen at that point, but this is just, a blind guess at this point. We don't know what this game is going to look like yet, of course, and I am also curious to see how the development of Indiana Jones is going to affect the eventual Wolfenstein 3, because I do think that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was a fantastic game. Some of the features that they have introduced in that game, I think actually would make sense to introduce into Wolfenstein as well. And one of them, of course, being the ability to move bodies or push enemies. That would be, I think, a lot of fun and would actually elevate the stealth gameplay that, Wolfenstein has always permitted. There was always this choice in the game that would, give players agency to either adhere to more run and gun style gameplay, which I think a lot of people eventually descended into anyway, but for those who want to be more stealthy, it was a problem because the game wanted to promote that playstyle, but it didn't really support it very well. So those features like moving bodies, even changing outfits to fit in with the environment and infiltrate would be something that could be interesting. And, creating more sandbox elements and giving players options to play how they want is always good. So yeah, that would be interesting to see make an appearance in this franchise. But anyway, I am going to leave you with this information for now. We are going to discuss more Wolfenstein in the future, of course. But for now, stay safe and I will see you around.